Joanna, you've spent a lot of time with people who have escaped or finally have been released from camps, these re-education camps, as communists so lovingly like to call them. Please give us some examples of what kind of things happen in these camps.
So in Istanbul, I spoke with someone who's actually a camp survivor. She was released by the Chinese officials after 15 months in a camp where she lost more than 20 kilograms of her weight. And, she was very broken by the time she was out. But she's 55. She's a grandmother and a businesswoman. She's actually a Kazakh citizen of Uyghur heritage who was traveling back and forth across the Kazakhstan and Chinese border to buy textile supplies for her clothing shop, basically. And she was taken from her hotel room with no explanation. She wasn't given a translator or a lawyer, and she just ended up in this dark cell. And she told me that when she showed up, they put a bag over her head so she couldn't see where she was going. They took the bag out and she saw she was in this really cramped cell with about 40 other women, barely any space for people to sleep. So she said that some had to stand shackled while half the room slept. And she just screamed, and it was just a nightmare for her. She told me from then on where she had a really lengthy interrogations. It seemed to me, compared to other testimonies, that she may have been in some sort of higher security camp because she was shackled the whole time and wasn't able to go outside. So her skin just, had jaundice and rashes because no shower facilities. They shaved her head in order to keep lice from growing because it was so unhygienic. She only had some thin broth, like vegetable broth, and a steamed buns to eat. So she lost a lot of weight. So her health was really wrecked by the end. She didn't, as far as re-education goes, she was forced to watch patriotic videos about the Chinese government, about Xi Jinping being a great president, and she had to sing songs, patriotic Chinese songs. So for
and again,
her,
this is a citizen of Kazakhstan who just was going across the border collecting textiles for her business.
Yeah, she has, to this day, she has no idea why she was taken. She is of Uyghur heritage, but I guess anyone is under suspicion, people who cross borders, etc. And the way it kind of is consistent with how China also sometimes goes after people of Canadian citizenship who are of Chinese heritage. So they're kind of a reach of people they feel that they could do these things to target is quite broad, including
so let me ask
citizens.
Mehmet, so in the foreign citizen file, you are Canadian, you're of Uyghur descent. You speak out. Have you been threatened, or do you know others who have been threatened here on Canadian soil?
Yeah, the price is too high, and one Canadian citizen of Uyghur origin now in Chinese jail since 14 years, since 2006. And so Chinese extended arms are reaching everywhere, including the soil of Canada. And the Chinese government recently passed a national security law. Actually, our two Michaels also in Chinese jail, partly because of the the national security law, persecuting foreign nationals. And so what the Chinese government is doing is targeting Uyghurs, regardless which passport you're holding.
Yes.
As long as you're Uyghurs, regardless you're religious or not, destroying Uyghur identity, including religious identity, and banning Uyghur language, millennium-old languages, and history, and architecture, as long as anything reflects the Uyghur identity.
So Joanna, Joanna, in the 30s, we only have 30 seconds left. What would you like to see Canada do? What is the next step? Have we declared this a genocide? What should be done?
And Canada should follow the policy recommendation of our subcommittee and determine what is happening as genocide. And also we have to look into our supply chain, products coming from China, most of them made by Uyghur forced labor. And also we have an existing law, Magnitsky law. That is the law, the past to prosecute the people who are violating the basic human rights. So we have a number of the agenda that we are working on. And I urge all Canadians just contact the MPs